So this is one of my favorite ways to warm up while drawing. I like to bring out a pen. I have this one here and this one. I'm probably going to use this one today. And I just Google any image of like people walking or I'm going to use that one as my reference for today. And this is really just an exercise that I think is really fun and gets your hand really loose. I do no sketching with a pencil beforehand. And where I start proportion-wise is going to be at the top here. And I'm noticing I'm going to be moving really fast just because the faster, it's just really a loose sketch and you don't really have to worry about what necessarily you're doing. So I'm going to have the chin come and end here. And come up around this way, have the ear here. And what I'm really doing in this first section is mostly just a silhouette. So it's going to come across more when I get down to the body, but I don't need to be worrying about exactly where the clothing lines are yet. So I'm just going to come in. This guy's got pretty broad shoulders. And how I'm going to measure this is the length of one head. Okay, so about right here is where his, right here is where his crotch is going to be. And then we'll keep going down to the feet. So these dots will probably disappear in a minute here. I'm not a professional or anything, and so this is by no means rules. This is just the way that I'm choosing to do this. So I chose one that's a little trickier because this guy's got his arm all the way out. His hand down here. This guy's walking with a lot of macho, so I'm really going to try to capture that emotion going into this. So this line is more coming this direction and going like that. And again, I'm really just getting an outline here. I'll come back and get details a little bit later. What is this? This isn't a vest. This is like, what's it called? A tank top. And again, I'm just going really fast with this because the best way to do this kind of stuff is to not really think about what you're doing, but just kind of go for it. There's his other hand. Okay, so we got about right. These are a little uneven, but they are a little uneven because he's walking in the original image. And nobody's really going to care about that. Let's get this. We've got a little bit of that going on. And then shirt comes up and around, down this way. So when I sketch with pen, I really like this technique where I'm trying to remember who necessarily coined this technique, but it's drawing pretty light first, and then once you've decided which lines you want to keep, going in a little darker with them. But, so it's kind of more like a line art process for what would normally be sketching, but it's like after I do a whole lot of lines, I decide which ones I'm keeping, and I'll make those darker. Kind of comes in like that way. And for the hand, I'm really just going to draw where the thumb is. I'm going to draw up around like that. Draw like 2 fingers and back. Because he's kind of like clenching his hand over here. And then on this side, the thumb kind of goes backwards. And then the main part of the hand comes like this. So it's not going to be professional or nothing. And then I'm really going to just like highlight his muscles because this guy's like muscly. So yeah, you can really see the emotion with which this guy is walking. Now I'm going to move on to the legs. A lot of artists will do this in a different way. This is knee. This is not like a very common thing that artists do because usually the general advice is to move from the general to the specific instead of what I'm doing, which is whatever I want. That was mostly a joke. But as far as the general to specific rule, usually you'll want to do an outline of the full body first before going into the little details. But I'm being a rebel, and I'll do like the whole torso first before I go into the legs. Because it just gives me a sense of more control. And even if things aren't even, even if things aren't perfectly even, I still like to control what I'm doing when. He's got like a big graphic in the middle of his t-shirt here. not a perfect rectangle. I'm not gonna care about that. It says words here. And, yeah. What am I missing here? The shoes aren't really in the frame of the original image, so that's why they're kind of cut out here, and the legs aren't perfect as far as width from the top of the page. But what I really like about pen sketches is that there's nothing I can exactly do about that. That it's not going to, there's no erase button, there's no going back. It really just forces you to commit and figure out what you're doing from there. I'm trying to get some of these fabric lines in here, and I'm going to go back over the face now that I'm more certain of what lines I want to keep up here. These, like, a little bit of this going on, collarbone situation, and the ear comes down like that. Hairline there, here. This guy's got pretty straight hair considering how spiky it is. This is the most anime boy looking real human I've seen in a while, which makes my job a little bit easier. Okay, and as far as the face goes, we're really just going to be very basic about it, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of details. I like to start with the nose, personally, just because it really defines the shape of the rest of the face. There's like a shading situation here. We'll get back to that in a minute. This guy's brows are a bit furrowed. I'm gonna go like that. And then for the eyes, it really doesn't need to be anything like too detailed, just because there we are. Okay. And then with shading on the face, we're gonna do, the reason it doesn't need to be detailed is because it's when you zoom out farther away, it looks better stylistically to not have a whole lot going on there. I might make them a bit more detailed like this, but they don't need to be like hour-long focuses of this. And I'm going to go in with, I'm going to make the shirt darker than in the original image, but only slightly so, just to really tell a difference from the skin tone. I'm just going in with regular hatching here. I'm not even cross-hatching. And then the pants are a much darker section. So this is a situation in which I'm not concerned about keeping my important lines or not going in dark to start with, because I know how dark I want this to be. And then I'm not going to regret this. Hopefully. So I'm just going in really quick with that. Darkening areas that I want to definitely stay standing out. Get a little perspective going on with the pocket there. And yeah, as far as the hair goes, let's just do a little bit of this. It's a bit darker back here. And then shadows on his arms, kind of going like that. And here. That's a very basic, cartoony gesture drawing of just this guy. Now I'm going to go in, like, and just really take a look at my proportions and perspective and see. The arms probably could have been a little bit longer, and it would have been nicer to be moved up a little bit. But there we go. That was about a little less than 10-minute sketch of just this random guy. So you can do this when you come across people in public if you're that bold, or just Google images, and it's a really nice warm-up for whatever you're planning on doing that day. That's it for me. Bye.